Hi, good morning or afternoon. This is Sophia, the Smartest Psychic, and I just got back from Denver a couple of days ago, and I've been tired, sleeping in and stuff, which is unlike me. I'm used to getting up at 5 in the morning. But I discovered something while I was there in Denver that really blew my mind. I thought I was at a certain stage in my life, but I wasn't. I went there thinking that I was going to just get there somehow or other. And if I ran out of um, gas money, not going back, but okay, if I went there and found out I didn't have enough gas money to get back, what I was going to do was just wing it. I was just going to wing it. I was just determined. And I thought, if I can make enough money through my business that I'm doing online, then I could get home with the money. I could buy gas with that money. And so what I was trying to do was force myself, right? I was trying to force myself to make money, force myself to make this work, force myself to just change something, because until now it hadn't been working. I haven't been making the money that I wanted to make. And so I thought this would help make it happen, okay? But once again, I was doing this thing where I was trying to change the inside by changing the outside. And what I didn't realize was that my mindset wasn't there. You know, I set myself up. I mean, I even ended up in a shelter. I'll admit it. It sure beats living in a car, okay? Sleeping in a car is not fun. I was sleeping about 3 hours a night, and that doesn't work. You get worn out after a while. It wears you down. And I came to a point where I thought, this isn't working. People aren't biting. And it's because my vibes, my mindset in here, my beliefs, my basic core beliefs were not supportive of me getting getting an online business lucrative for me, making money. It wasn't happening. So, wow, I thought, okay, I need to start at the beginning. And what I needed to do was change my mindset, not change my circumstances or the way I did things, okay? I had to change who I am in order to change what I did, in order to change what was going on in my life. So as soon as I realized that, I thought, okay, I need to get home. Now that I know what I need to do, I need to get home. And long story short, I did manage to get home, thanks to my sister. And on the way home, I did a lot of thinking. And when you want to change your mindset, you have to take control of things that are going on in your life. Okay? What I mean by that is, instead of listening to the radio, you listen to CDs or MP3 player in your car. This is if you're taking trips, if you travel in your business, or if you commute to work, even if it's only 10 minutes. Some people have an hour commute to work, and that time could be used to reprogram your mind. If you reprogram your mind to give you the thoughts and emotions that will build the life that you really want, it is it is it's a huge investment in just a short amount of time. You want to stop listening to the radio, stop watching TV. These are things that I've been doing. I don't listen to the radio anymore. I don't watch TV. I haven't had a TV in 9 years, so. But you can get some junk online, right? So I have to curb that too. So I've set my email up to go to Gmail. Um, Not that I'm endorsing them, but hey, I'm so sick of Yahoo Mail because of all the ads and the news and stuff on there that I don't really want to know. That's not why I go online. And going online, you have to cut out stuff. You have to train your mind not to go certain places online. You have to look at your friends. Are your friends uplifting? Do they care about you? Or are they negative? Do they bitch a lot? Do they complain about everything? Is stuff going on in their life that they have to text you all the time about all the about all the bad crap going on in their life? Um, are your friends bringing you up or bringing you down? And you know by how you feel when you're in their presence, or how you feel after you've spent some time with them. Do you feel vaguely depressed? Do you feel dirty? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel, you know, your emotions will tell you if you're on the right track or not with your friends. And books that you read. A lot of people don't read books these days, but I do. I read a lot of books. And romance novels. I like a lot of romance novels, but hey, there's some romance novels out there that can bring you down and make you believe that women just and make you believe that men are men are crap, or there aren't any good men out there or whatever. And you need to pay attention to the books you read. Once again, how do you feel? Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel encouraged? Do you feel powerful when you read these books? Or do you feel wistful and discouraged and depressed because you don't have something that that person has in the book? Now, that's not always saying that the book is bad. Sometimes it's the attitude you have. Um, when you go shopping, or you're just out and about and you see cars go by or see people walk by, or like me, I see a girl with a boyfriend and I think how awesome that is. Your attitude towards that colors everything too. When you see something that someone else has that you like and you wish you had, don't instead of being wistful and depressed and going, oh gosh, why doesn't that ever happen to me? You think, yes, that's coming my way. That's coming into my future, or that's coming to me. Um, that's for me, like a car that you like, or clothing, or a job. Instead of being jealous, I mean the kind of jealous where you have resentment towards somebody, or you want to hurt somebody because they have something you want. Instead of that, think, that's for me. I deserve that. I'm going to have that. That's coming into my life. And that changes everything. And you can feel it immediately when you look at someone that has something you want, and you think, yes, that's for me. That's what I want. That's on my list, and it's coming my way. It changes how you feel inside. Another thing is concerts, rock groups. The music you listen to. Hey, music is so important in my life too. I have to have music, but I've had to stop and think, um, what's that music doing to me? Their attitudes will rub off on you. When you listen to the same music over and over again in your head, or even just once, something in that music will lock onto you, and will program your brain. All these things I'm talking about program your brain to think and feel a certain way. Classes at school, certain teachers. There's certain classes, you have to go to, but the teachers are a real bummer because they're assholes, or because they're stuck up, or because they're bored, or they're boring, or you just don't like the class, you hate the class, or there's somebody in the class that gives you a hard time, or you don't like the energy in the class. What you have to do is counter that with talking to yourself, maybe not out loud, you don't want to be too weird, right? But talking to yourself, even as you write notes that counter that person's energy, that is the opposite of that negative energy you're getting in the class. Even as you're writing notes, you can do that. I understand some classes you have to go to pass to get the degree. Another thing is the person. Think about the person in your life that you look up to, that you go to for advice, that you admire, that you want to be like. I don't know if it's your mom or dad, brother or sister, your best friend, some popular kid at school, somebody at work that you really admire, um, someone that you've been going to when you've had a hard time in life, and this might be an older person, a person who's in a career that you wish you were in, that sort of stuff. Take a good hard look at that person and why you want that person in your life, okay? I'm serious about this. You want to have someone who is uplifting and has your back and supports you even when you make mistakes, okay? And is encouraging you in a positive direction, not encouraging you to bash your teachers, bash your parents or your boss or your coworkers, Gossip is poison. People who gossip will not grow. People who love to get together and cut each other down, cut other people down, do not grow, do not move forward in life, except by hurting other people. Okay? Gossip doesn't get you where you want to go. It makes you look cheap, it makes you look low grade, it makes you look, um, it doesn't make you look classy, that is for sure. And you want to be classy. Another thing that's hard to change is your neighborhood. You know, you go outside and just down the street there's a car on blocks, the person across from you doesn't mow their lawn, your next door neighbor, the kids are always screaming and running around and looking dirty. This is not good. And even if you live in a good neighborhood, but you can hear the couple next door screaming at each other like they're going to kill each other any minute, or on the other side of you, there's people coming to that house. You might live in a really nice neighborhood, okay, don't get me wrong, or maybe just middle class, but the people next door, they have people coming to their house all hours of the day and night, and the cars are usually all different. Now that's kind of suspicious, and you wouldn't want a meth lab blowing up next door to you and catching your house on fire. But even without that happening, the whole energy of living in that kind of environment is going to bring you down, and you need to move. You need to find somewhere else to live, because the people that you spend the most time with, even if you don't talk to them very much, but if you're around them a lot, you will start adapting their views and their mindsets and how they see life and how they see themselves. So you have to be very careful with who you're with, whether it's in your neighborhood or even your best friends or whatever. Now, something I'm wanting to do, I'm looking for a job, and I'm at the point right now where I don't care. As a writer, the money hasn't been coming in fast enough, so I'm getting a regular job, and I want to change my mindset that says I deserve to earn money, I deserve to make good money, I deserve to have the life I want, and so I need to change my mindset. Well, I'm going to be going to a job where I'll be meeting people that most likely will not be helping me with that. So what I'm going to try to do is get a job that has less interaction with people throughout the day. Now, I might be surrounded by people, but I'll be working on my own. So I'm thinking of, I really didn't want to do this, but I feel like it's a step towards my goal. And my goal is to be self-sustaining, be independently wealthy, and to do something that is emotionally fulfilling for me, some work that's emotionally fulfilling. And my basic mission in life is to free people from the prisons that they're in, the traps that they're in, whether it's their job, the way they handle relationships, their view of themselves, all of these things and more determine if you have built a prison for yourself in life and if you're living in it and you feel trapped in that prison. So my way to get out of that trap is throughout the day have earbuds and an MP3 player that I load a bunch of stuff on that's like self-help, self-development, like, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, um, Abraham Hicks, Mike Dooley, all these different authors that I can think of. If I can find some audiobooks and possibly some audio recordings, like online somewhere, I'm going to download them onto my MP3 player and listen to them while I'm working, whether it's as a janitor, working in landscaping, uh, being a laborer of some type, uh, cleaning people's houses, working in a factory, or if I'm lucky enough to find work that I can do from home. Um, you know, what we're looking at here is no-brainer type of work, right? And where I'm working on my own and I'm allowed to wear earbuds. Some janitor jobs and stuff like that, uh, you're not allowed to wear earbuds, and I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a janitor job where I can work at my own pace, but I have to get X, Y, and Z done by the end of the day, right? But I'll wear earbuds and be listening to this stuff all day, and I'll be reprogramming my mind, and I'll let you know how I progress. But I'm telling you what, um, I am making this sacrifice to get a job that I don't really like in order to listen to this stuff and reprogram my mind. Uh, Another thing that you do to reprogram your mind is the first thing you tell yourself when you look in the mirror in the morning. Say it out loud. Look in the mirror and say, look in your eyes, into your eyes and say, I love you. I accept you just the way you are. And say that several times. And, when I first started doing that, it made me cry. And when you feel that way, you know that this is on the right track, that this is something you need. Um, Another thing I'm going to do is find a really cool subliminal video online on YouTube and download it and see if I can't watch it every day, twice a day. They say, some people say 5 minutes twice a day, some people say 30 minutes twice a day. And I'm going to say 30 minutes twice a day in the beginning to get me on track, because I have this reprogramming that needs to be done in order for my dream life to even manifest itself. Right now, my dream life doesn't have a chance because I have this, oh, that kind of thing happens to other people, not me. And so I'm wanting to change that as a foundation. I have to change that part of my thoughts to even get all this other stuff I want. I can, like I said in the video yesterday, I can I can listen I can listen to affirmations. I can make my own affirmations and say them over and over and over again. But if that basic foundational stuff isn't there, that basic foundational thing that says I deserve, I am greatly loved, I am, I'm a worthy human being, all that kind of stuff. If that isn't there, if that self-esteem thing isn't there, then all the affirmations aren't going to work. The being wealthy and having friends and relationships and the dream guy you've always wanted. That kind of thing isn't going to be there, sweetheart. So you need to reprogram your your foundation, the way you feel about yourself, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm hoping um, some of the things I said are helping you, will help you in your journey towards self-discovery and towards your dream life. This is Sophia, the Smartass Psychic, and I wish you light and blessings.